this church has made a conscious decision to grow. And so consequently, everybody that I'm coming in contact with these days is saying, so what's your church about? What are you doing? What do you teach over there? You know? And so I've been streamlining it down to like a, you know, a down and dirty kind of 10-cent definition that we have. And so here it is for you. It's that God is everywhere. God is in and all things and all people at all times. Ernest Holmes tells us that the entire manifest universe is the body of God. So everything that we see is part of the incarnation. It's an incarnation and part of God. And we also teach that love is a better way to be in the world. If we would all just be loving, if we would put our differences aside, if we would put our opinions aside and our preferences aside, if we would just put that all aside and we would just be loving, the world would be so much happier and a better place. Yes? Can we agree on that?
Yes.
And then the third part that I go to, the third part that we teach in this church, and what I want to kind of expand on a little bit today, is that Dr. Holmes teaches us that your mind is the most powerful thing that you have to work with to evolve and to heal and to grow and move your life forward. Your mind creates your experience. And how you put your mind out into the world is how the world gives it back to you. So your mind and how you use it can be your best friend, or, as many of us know and have had personal experience thereof, your mind can become your worst enemy. Yes, when we use our mind incorrectly against ourselves, we take ourselves so low that we didn't even know we could get that low. But we now know that we've been that low because we've been there, you know? But we do that through the power of our mind. So, very simply, God is in and everywhere, present equally at all times, in and through all things. That love is a better way to be, because it's and your mind, because it's an incredibly creative and powerful tool, is in fact the most powerful thing that you have to grow and heal and move your life forward. Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind teaches us this very simple idea that your thought is creative, that everybody's thought is creative. And we may want to say, well, how is that possible? Well, the way it works is this. If you hold an idea in your mind, or you hold an image, and you start to believe that, and you see it with your imagination, and we do that with our objective mind, that part that's sitting here and thinking, that you're thinking with right now, this present mind. Your subjective mind then goes to work on that idea. And it gets the idea like saying, oh, work on this, you know, and bring this about. An example of this, what it would be like is that, I'm going to give myself away here as a sci-fi fan, but your objective mind is Captain Kirk. Your objective mind is Captain James Kirk of the Enterprise. And your subjective mind then is number one. And so what does Captain Kirk say to number one? Make it so. Now, number one certainly doesn't go around and say, well, I don't know if I can do that. We're out in space. It's kind of a big deal. I don't know if we can get this done. What would Starfleet say about this? Maybe we shouldn't. It's going to be really hard. No, you don't get to be number one by questioning Captain Kirk. You get to be number one just by doing your job, and your job is to make it so. And that's what our subjective mind does. Our subjective mind makes it so. Now, in the science of mind, we do not think that suffering of any kind is of God. There is nothing holy about suffering. You'll notice that there are no great metaphysical martyrs. There aren't. We don't have that. So it's a very curious thing to me that people don't allow themselves to find and experience the joy and the happiness and the good in their life. They just won't allow themselves to be happy, as if somehow that's going to make them closer to God. But what do we say again? That God is everywhere, equally present in and through all things and all people at all times. Now, I often hear that someone will not allow themselves to do something that they would really, really like to do. And maybe it's because they say to themselves of how it would look, or what would other people think about that, or they have to do something else to get the money, or if I did that, I'd feel guilty about it. Well, let me tell you, I look at scriptures, and I've read scripture many, 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 many times. And I have never, ever read that God is guilt. God is love. And we've all heard that. God is love. So let's think about that. What that's simply telling us is if there is something I love, if there's something that makes my heart sing, if there's something that fills me with joy and aliveness, then a lot of God is being expressed there. And I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about each and every one of us here. When you are doing something that you love, which makes your heart and your soul sing and joy and dance, and a lot of God is being expressed. Because often people will tell me what they love to do. And I sit and look at them and I say, well, how's that playing out in your life? You doing it? You know, are you having some of that in your life? Where does it fit into your life? And they'll say, no. I say, why not? Why? Well, I feel guilty about that. Who am I to do that? I don't deserve to do that. That is not of God. Bottom line, get that here and now. That is not of God. There is no deserving in the mind of God. There just isn't. God gives of itself, of its infinite nature, to all of God's children equally alike. There's no deserving in that equation. There just isn't. That's a totally made-up concept. It's a totally made-up idea, and it's a Western idea. It's not even a universal made-up idea. It's a Western concept. There was an interview with the Dalai Lama a few years ago, in which a Western reporter was asking His Holiness about how he dealt with people that had this issue around deserving. And he kept asking it, and the Dalai Lama just wasn't getting it. The interpreter was saying it over and over and over again. But the Dalai Lama was just not comprehending it. And then all of a sudden, he just goes, oh, no. This is incorrect. This is incorrect. Every person is precious. Every person is valuable. And it's wrong. It is wrong to think of yourself as undeserving. It's a Western concept. We have made it up. It's crazy thinking. And there's no sense to it at all. And there is no God in any part of that. God wants you to be happy. Really? Get that. We've got to get that. We believe that and we teach that in this science. God wants you to be happy. Now, certainly not at the expense of other people. But if it is of God, what blesses one of us blesses all of us. And if we really, truly believe that this is what God wants me to do, that then this is what the infinite Spirit is trying to wake up and rise up and express by means of me. If it blesses you, it blesses others. We're all connected. This is why it's so important for us to celebrate each other's successes and triumphs and wins. It's important that we're supportive of each other and being the best that we can each be, because we're all connected. My right hand wouldn't take joy in my left hand being wounded. It just doesn't make sense. We want everybody to have great love and great happiness and great success and abundance and health and on and on and on, you know? That's a peace-filled world. That's a world that's love-filled. That's where a lot of God is being expressed. Now, we're all one. So it makes sense to me that if you hide your light under a bushel, if you deny yourself, if you punish yourself, that's actually having an effect on other people that we share the earth with. You're making other people hide their light, diminish themselves. And there's something just wrong in that equation. Now, I'm certainly aware, I really am, that things are difficult for many of us right now. But we can never cease to have a dream, a vision of what life could be, especially in the midst of when times are difficult. You know, when we authentically come from the way that we see things, our unique spin on life, our unique perspective, our unique take on life, that is spirit individualizing itself within us, seeking to come forward and express in an extraordinarily unique way all of our own. If you hold back thinking that the world doesn't share my spin on things, the world doesn't see things the way I see things, so I'm not going to put it out there, then you limit yourself. In fact, you're actually limiting the God in you, which is your gift to bring to the world and to share, your gift to bring to the table. Have you ever read The Far Side by Gary Larson? Those cartoons. I love those cartoons. I love those cartoons. He looks at things so differently. And in the process, excuse me, he makes millions of people laugh. So seeing it differently and putting it out there is his gift into the world. Excuse me. And it truly would be a shame if Gary Larson said, oh no, people aren't going to get it. I'm not going to put it out there. They just won't get it. See, there is a divine pattern within each and every one of us that's seeking to emerge, that God already has made our blueprint. It's about being yourself, expressing the uniqueness that's within each and every one of them. And it's us taking a lesson from that and expressing that uniqueness that is within us. Now, I think everybody wants to be involved in something that has heart and meaning, something really meaningful in their life. I think everybody wants to think that their life is in some way adding love and life to the world. Everybody wants their talents and to be expressed in some wonderful way. And if we're doing that, then I think we're happy. The world gets your gift. The world is blessed by your gift. We feel good. The world feels good. And this is no small thing, because the cycle just keeps going on and on and on. It just continues. You feel good. You share your gift. The world is happy. The world is blessed. You feel better. You share your gift. The world is happy. The world is blessed. It's endless. Now, God is already doing God's part. Let's really be clear on that. God is already on board, totally 100% willing for your happiness to manifest. Doing everything that God, the universe, creative spirit is doing, it's going to do. And we say, okay, okay. But here's the thing, something's not right. Something's not working. My life isn't working right now. There's a wire crossed somewhere. Okay, there's a wire crossed. Let's go with that. Where is it crossed? In us. It's crossed within us. The wire is not crossed in God. Things don't work for us out here in the outer world. Why? Because they're not working for us in here. They're not working in here first. The principle is, as within, so without. So we get to, our job then, is we get to look and say, all right, where do we not allow ourselves to just be? Be who we are. Where do we not allow ourselves to give forth freely of who we are? Or where in our life are we holding back because we have some judgment about who we are? Where in our life are we not giving ourselves permission? If you don't value, if you don't love, if you don't take seriously who and what you are, how can the world take seriously who and what you are? And the world out there seems to be very fickle. I think the world is very fickle. So the world cannot possibly get behind you if you are not 110% behind you. This is why your thought is the most powerful thing you have to work with. Because the world can't bring anything into your life and into your experience if you are unwilling to believe it for yourself and to see it for yourself and to think the thoughts that correspond with that. Every person has value to contribute to the world. And so your job, my job then, is to say, yes, yes, here I am. I'm a unique part of spirit. I have value to contribute to the world. And you have to really, really believe that about yourself. Now, I don't know what comes from your soul and your heart that's seeking to express, but you do. You know what it is. You already know. And that's where your life will thrive, in those areas where you say, I got to make some room here. I got to make some space. I got to make some time in my life for my unique gift to come forward into the world and bless the world. We have to have room for what we love. And I am not talking about here jumping up and quitting your job. Remember, we all tried that in the late 70s, early 80s. And people just thought by doing what they loved, you know, the money would follow. It didn't. It didn't. They started all over again. And why did that happen? Because there was no consciousness there. They just thought, oh, I'm going to do what I love. Let's have a play. No, 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 no. But the thing is, you have to do what you love with the belief that what you have and what you love is valued. And then you have to love the people that you are serving while doing it. There's some consciousness there. And when there's consciousness there, the universe can step up and support you, get behind you. So, because you're saying, this is important to me. This is what's in my heart. This is what I love. I'm going to make room. I'm going to make time. I'm going to make some space for some of that in my life to come forward right now. Because the dream in your heart, whatever that is for you, is your gift to life. It's your contribution to the universe. Now we teach that you, me, you, I like to talk about you. You are cause unto your life. You are at cause in your life. So God is the spirit within you that's moving through you to love and be and do and create its infinite life through you. So we all have a great part to play in this whole divine design thing. We must know that. We must get that. But here's the thing. Most people are filled with the immediate concerns of life. People are not thinking about how the divine design is seeking to express itself through me. What most people are concerned with is they want to be fed, they want to be fondled, they want to be financed, and they want to be famous. I do. I think everybody does. And we forget that we have a part to play in the divine design. When I was growing up, I always thought that it, whatever it was outside of me. That God was outside of me. That love was outside of me. That what I wanted in life was outside of me. That somehow I had to get it. I had to reach out and grab it and hold on to it. And as long as I held on really tight, then I would have it. Science of mind has taught me that it's within me, that it's within all of us. It's not out there. It's in here. So my objective mind has to know what? Your objective mind has to know what? And we have to stay connected with the what and keep the dream alive. And our subjective mind says, this is important. Create it. Work on this. The subjective mind says, I'm number one. My job is to make it so. Don't worry too much about the how. You know, Captain Kirk never says to number one, make it so. How are you going to do that? You know, make it so. But I don't really think you can do it. How are you going to do it? No. This is what you came here to do, what your gift is, what's inside your heart, what makes your soul sing. This is what you came to do. Make steps in that direction. Even if you make small steps in that direction, you will be happy. You will be happier. Excuse me. And if you're not happy, hear me. You are not doing what you came here to do. Bottom line, if you are not happy, you are not doing what you came here to do. And there's a belief in limitation. And this belief in limitation is what is holding many of us back. Well, I don't know. How can I do that? You know, I have to work. I don't have time. It's not practical for me to do it. I'm not enough. I'm too old. I do this. Blah, 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 blah. Stop it. Stop it. That's all about universal doubt. And universal doubt is simply a belief shared by just about everybody to some extent that there's not enough. Which translates individually to us is I am not enough. Now there is no spiritual truth to that. It's nonsense. It's a fabrication of the mind, and it is not serving us anymore. It's using your own mind to be your own worst enemy. And this is what's keeping us down. So stop it. It occurs to me, when we're afraid, we think that we're doing it, that we're pushing the river, that it's our human separateness, power, that there's no God in that. There's no God in that. That's why we're afraid. We're afraid because we think that we're doing it all alone, our little lonesome human self. But we teach in the science of mind that all things are possible with God. And we must know and we must accept that the power of God is within each and every one of us equally at all times. This infinite, awesome, incredible power that was within all of the great beings is the same power that's within us. The power that was in Jesus and Moses and Buddha and Muhammad, on and on and on, is the same power that's within us. The same power. Now the world right now, we can see it, is hungry. The world is obviously hungry for love and light and healing. And love and light and healing exists within each and every one of us, right here, right now. So it's our job to get out there and give that to the world by giving our unique gifts, by sharing who and what we are and staying anchored in the truth. That is the life we came here to live. Let's start doing it. And so it is. Let's turn our attention inward for just a moment. Let's turn our attention inward, remembering that God, the infinite spirit, is right where we are. That each and every one of us is a place where that infinite spirit reveals itself uniquely, perfectly, joyfully, happily here on earth's plane. And I speak the word for us today that we are open vessels for Spirit's expression, because we know our oneness with God and we know our oneness with each other. And we have this wonderful, incredible, divine connection. That right where we are, there is a spiritual vortex where the universe is saying yes to each and every one of us, saying yes to a greater yet to be, moving through us out into expression into our lives. So whatever that we have believed that has not served us, we willingly set that aside today, and we keep a dream alive in our mind, our conscious mind, and our subjective mind sets about making it so. I know that this is truly the will of God for each and every one of us, for our hearts to sing, for our hearts to dance with joy. So we include in our prayer today family members and friends and loved ones. We know that God is right where they are. We let our prayer be a blessing to the world around us. So in those situations that pull at our attention, we know that infinite, loving, peaceful Spirit is right there at the center. We bless our church. We bless all churches everywhere. We bless all paths to God, temples, mosques, synagogues, ashrams, wherever people gather. We send our love and our support and our blessing, for God's the only place to go. And I know that we are blessed by being here together today. And it is indeed with an open, full, and grateful heart that I give thanks that this is the truth, and I release this word into the law, knowing it is so. Together we say, and so it is.